The year is not 1962, but the fear feels familiar. The Cold War may be over on paper, but the world today is no less fragile. Russia wages war in Ukraine. Iran and Israel exchange threats. Nuclear weapons, once the nightmare of another generation, are again part of the conversation. So the question that once seemed unthinkable is now very real. What happens if a nuclear war breaks out? And more importantly, how can you prepare? Let's be clear, no one wins a nuclear war, but that doesn't mean you're powerless. Preparedness isn't panic, it's awareness. It's survival, it's hope backed by action. Let's start with the basics. 1. Understanding the threat landscape. Today's threats are no longer limited to two superpowers. Russia has the world's largest nuclear arsenal. The US still holds devastating retaliatory capabilities. North Korea continues testing missiles. Iran is enriching uranium. And then there's Israel, a nuclear-armed state that has never officially confirmed its weapons, facing existential threats from Iran and Hezbollah. The Middle East is a powder keg. Europe is trembling. And in this chaos, nuclear weapons aren't just political tools. They are weapons of intimidation, retaliation, and potentially annihilation. So how do you prepare in a world that feels like it's balancing on a hair trigger? 2. Mental preparedness. The war before the war, the first step is not physical, it's psychological. A nuclear event, whether a large-scale war or a limited tactical strike, will cause mass confusion, misinformation, and paralysis. You need to decide today how you will react. Will you freeze or will you move? Train yourself to spot disinformation. Not every alert is real. Not every real threat will come with a warning. Follow verified channels, have a mental checklist, have a plan. Fear is normal, but fear without preparation is deadly. 3. Know your geography. Where you live matters. If you're in or near a major city, military base, or political center, you're at higher risk. Moscow, Kyiv, Tel Aviv, Tehran, Washington, D.C., London, New York, Berlin. These are not just dots on a map. They're potential targets. But proximity doesn't guarantee death. Contrary to Hollywood, a nuclear bomb doesn't destroy everything in every direction. Distance, terrain, wind, and even weather affect fallout. You may have minutes. You may have hours. You might survive if you know what to do. 4. The bug-in strategy. Shelter is survival, unless you are certain you can evacuate before an impact. Sheltering in place is often the safest bet. That means knowing your most protected space. The basement is ideal. If not, pick a room with the fewest windows. Avoid top floors. Stay behind thick walls, concrete, brick, or earth. Make sure this space is stocked. What do you need? Water. At least 3 liters per person per day for 2 weeks. Food, non-perishables, easy to open. Radiation protection. Potassium iodide tablets to block radioactive iodine. Battery-powered radio, flashlight batteries, first aid kit, personal documents in waterproof bags. And remember, time is protection. Radiation drops rapidly after a blast. If you can stay sheltered for 24 to 48 hours, your survival odds rise significantly. 5. The evacuation plan. When staying isn't safe, sometimes sheltering isn't an option. Fires, structural damage, water contamination. If you must leave, wear long sleeves and pants. Cover your mouth and nose with cloth or a mask. Avoid touching objects with visible dust or ash. Move perpendicular to wind direction if you suspect fallout. But most important, know your route in advance. Have a destination, a backup, and a backup to your backup. In wartime, roads clog, borders close, panic spreads. Calm people survive. 6. Communication breakdown. One of the first casualties in a nuclear strike will be communication. Cell towers may go down. Internet might be severed. Power may vanish. You need offline options. Battery-powered or crank emergency radios. Local FM stations. Pre-agreed signals with your family. Flashlights, markings, safe words. Maps, real ones on paper. Don't assume Google will guide you out of hell. 7. What happens after? Surviving the blast is only the beginning. Nuclear war means radiation sickness, lack of medical help, civil unrest, food and fuel shortages, psychological trauma. The mental strain may be worse than the physical. People may turn on each other or shut down entirely. If you survive, your next job is to help others survive with clarity, kindness, and courage. It won't be easy, but humans have lived through plagues, fires, world wars. We adapt. You must decide now. Will you be someone others can depend on? 8. Global implications, the dominoes that follow. Even if the blast never hits your city, the world will change. Markets will crash. Governments may fall. Mass migration will rise. Borders will tighten. Xenophobia will spread. And the planet itself if the conflict escalates to multiple warheads, may face nuclear winter. This isn't science fiction. It's a scenario studied by scientists and feared by generals. Even a limited exchange, say 100 bombs, could block sunlight for years, decimate crops, and cause mass famine. We live in an interconnected ecosystem. When one part collapses, the rest follows. 9. What you can do now. Preparedness isn't just buying gear. It's having family meetings about scenarios, connecting with neighbors who can help or need help, storing physical cash in case banking shuts down, following credible geopolitical analysts, not just influencers, supporting diplomacy, de-escalation, and rational leadership wherever you are. And above all, don't lose hope. The goal of preparation is not to live in fear. It's to live freely, even in a dangerous world. 10. Why this matters today. With tensions at an all-time high, Russia threatening NATO, Iran facing Israeli preemptive strikes, superpowers playing chess with real people as pawns, the risk of a miscalculation grows. Not just intentional war, but accidental apocalypse. A hacked radar, a false flag, a human error. History has come close, many times. Your job isn't to predict the moment. It's to be ready when the moment comes. Final words, nuclear war is not inevitable, but it's possible. To ignore that is to gamble with everything. You don't need to live in fear. You need to live in awareness. If the day ever comes when sirens wail and the world goes dark, let your mind stay clear. Let your hands move with purpose. Let your preparation turn into power. Because the best way to face the end of the world is to refuse to give up on it. This is Mind Unlocked, and your awareness is your survival.